Good evening, everyone. The time is 5 p.m. and the Belton Independent School District Board of Trustees are now convened in a workshop on Monday, December 15, 2025. A quorum of board members is present. However, please note for the record, Mr. Norwood will not be with us this evening. This meeting has been duly called and notice of the meeting has been posted in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Code Chapter 551. Any public comments? All right, that takes us to item 3. Academic progress report, advanced academics. Dr. Goldman.
Yes, thank you, board, for being here this evening. I'm super excited about the conversation that Gabby Nina, our Assistant Superintendent for Teaching and Learning, is going to facilitate this evening. I know you've heard me talk at various times throughout the year about this work that we're doing around really supporting our district's vision for ensuring that each and every learner is empowered to pursue their dreams and enrich their communities. And that pursuing of dreams, we talk a lot about we want our students to be career ready. There are lots of pathways to a certain career, so really doing work around each of those pathways. And tonight, Gabby is going to talk with you about the work that we've been doing, big picture, and then specifically we'll talk to you about the incredible partnership we are working to just do nothing but continue to grow with Temple College, and we'll have a guest or two to introduce you to in a little bit.
All right, y'all, I am thrilled to be having a conversation tonight, and we're going to start with not me talking, but I'm going to ask you guys to get up and go on a walk and talk. And what you see around the room is our pathways to career readiness in Belton ISD, as well as some of the supporting advising posters that we have that articulate courses available within each pathway. You'll also see career opportunities available in each pathway, as well as college experiences that students have available to them within each pathway. Here's my ask of you. It's a challenge. I'm going to send you walking and talking, but I want you to think about 5 years from now, a news story comes out, and I'm going to ask you to think about the boldest headline that might come out. The story is about a student who's accomplished remarkable things as a result of, quoted by them, the experiences that they had in Belton ISD. And so your challenge is to take note of the offerings we have, what's clearly articulated here, what your hopes and dreams are, and most importantly, what would that bold headline be 5 years from now about a remarkable student from Belton ISD. I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Yes, and that's as much for me as it is for you, probably more, to just walk and talk about the opportunities that we offer in Belton ISD.
So that would be normal, it's artillery today, it was normally B-52. Yeah, so aerospace engineering is huge.
There's a time within that. I go in thinking aerospace engineering, and it gets some pushback when some partners with that. Because within aero, there is the engineering design. There's also the mechanical within it. The whole pathway on its own. So you're right, aero is huge and rising, and even within that, there's multiple pathways.
But it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah, so that's exactly why we put that, they are various courses that align with supporting and on pathways for ACES. But we'll be able to grow with lessons, more credit ones, and you will get the complete credit path. Yeah. Like I'm all, let me back away, I'm preventing you from walking your talk. Yeah, I'm gonna give you about a minute and a half more. Be thinking about that headline. What student experiences or opportunities would you highlight in the headline? Sorry. It's
It's one of the ones over there?
It is.
Okay, okay.
No, it's not.
Right.
Overall, it is.
Yeah.
But we've got more student engagement.
Yeah.
Medical is. Where is Denise? Denise, where
Yeah, I don't
are
see it.
medical? Medical. None of these that you're showing to be. These are ones that we currently have. Our medical was. Here's health and wellness, that are.
So Gabby, our question is headline, what were our hopes and
Yeah,
dreams?
what would the headline be 5 years from now? If you'll start heading back. It may help you to think about our vision and where you see our vision in these offerings for students. But so what would be your headline? A little fun with it.
5 years from now?
5 years from now, a story's told about a student who's accomplished remarkable things. And in that article, he attributes his experiences in Belton ISD, or she attributes her experiences in Belton ISD. What's the headline?
5 years might be a little early, but I know we have a Belton High School alum who's assistant DA in the county now, and so looking through the law track, thinking that would be pretty cool to see another one of our student graduates go through that track and be working for the DA's office.
Yeah. See, I was going to go down that path too, a little tongue-in-cheek a little bit, but I was like, I want to see one of our students take down manual in the courtroom.
Yeah.
That would be a fun one.
Yeah.
Former BISD.
Yeah.
That might be a
Opponent
chore.
too.
Right?
No, I'm kidding.
Or, you
No,
know,
I like it.
or culinary arts, right? We've got one of the kids go through our programs on, taking down a challenge on HGTV or Food Network or something like that, right? Sort of participating in one of the, of course, I'm into the cooking competitions right now, right? So showing up there and taking that down.
Engineering student, patents new technology
Yeah.
that will change the world.
I like it.
Former BISD student becomes youngest CEO, to take over maybe a large corporation or even a small, but someone becoming a CEO.
I was thinking about the aerospace and engineering and some of those things, and we went to a drone show up in Temple for Christmas and that sort of thing. So I was just imagining like a Lake Belton High School student. I know they have a good entrepreneur program up there, starting his own business and launching these, massive drone shows where these drones light up the sky. But being a CEO or the owner of one of those businesses and using all, kind of both of those skills as an entrepreneur and in engineering to start a business like that.
Well, and even education, I mean, it's definitely achievable for someone to come back and teach
Yeah.
in our school district, to get back where they were poured into.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna hold these thoughts because the way we start today is the way we're gonna end as well. So we're gonna fill in some information that's truly our academic update, and also paint a picture of our strategies and partnerships that are growing. But I want us to close today to come back to that headline, and maybe you fill in some more details to it, or maybe it shifts what your headline would be. So again, we're gonna talk today about our academic update, but really through the lens of advanced academics and creating opportunity that ensures every single student has access to advanced academics in order to become career ready. So let's start with, my clicker's not working, Becca. Can you do next slide for me, Becca? So we've talked very briefly about our vision and hopefully created a bit of imagery in your mind. And I'm going to talk about CCMR just a bit differently today to try to translate language between our district vision for students and how that gets translated at the state level for measuring our progress as well. What you've heard me talk about many times is CCMR, or College, Career, and Military Readiness. Those categories have specific indicators of readiness that are listed on the screen here. In the umbrella of College Ready, there are multiple measures, including meeting standard on Texas Success Initiative, an assessment for college readiness. You may meet readiness for college by taking a dual credit course and passing that course, meeting a certain passing standard on an AP exam, a 3 or above, earning an associate's degree, or taking an on-ramps dual enrollment course. All of those indicators fall into what we call college ready within the CCMR label. Career ready is earning an IBC, or an industry-based certificate, for students who meet eligibility for special education, graduating with an IEP and work readiness code, a current special education student being on an advanced diploma, or earning a level 1 or 2 certificate. And then of course, military ready is enlistment in the armed forces or National Guard. So I wanted to ground us in what the state says is CCMR ready, but I want to translate that a bit to our goals in Belton ISD and areas that we're really emphasizing for growth. In all of those indicators, there are absolutely some that bring us closer to career ready, closer to our vision of students graduating and leaving our system ready to enhance their communities. So within college ready on CCMR, we are really emphasizing growth and access to dual credit for our students. Courses that they are able to earn high school credit simultaneously with college credit. AP exam is written there, not just AP course, but AP exam, because the only way to earn that college readiness is to actually take an AP exam associated with the course and score a 3 or higher on that. What we often see, not only in Belton ISD, but districts all over the place, is students will take the class, the AP class, and then not actually take the exam associated with it. And then also we want to increase the number of students having access to an earning associate's degree while they are still students in Belton ISD. In the career ready umbrella, you'll see dual credit repeated there. We are working to identify, there are ways students can earn dual credit within career ready courses. and they can earn that credit under 2 different categories. And so we're working to eliminate as many barriers as possible to make sure students have dual credit access in alignment with, and not just access, but actually utilizing them in alignment with our pathways. Leveling up our IBCs to higher level certifications. And then we'll go back to military readiness, and we're focusing on the enlistment in the military. Historically, you could go and just learn about the military or take an ASVAB exam in order to get that CCMR indicator for military ready. That is no more. We want to see them enlist and serve in the military. And then just an icon there to show that we're working very hard to align all of these experiences. And what you see around the room is evidence of us working to align the courses that we're advising students to take to their interest that they're expressing with us and their desires for the future. So let's talk about the strategies that we're doing. And I'm going to share that we're engaging in to work towards increasing access to advanced academics. Our strategies really fall into 4 different categories. And we talked about this in February, the last time we had a discussion on really career readiness. But we're going to come back to those and show you some gains that we're already seeing today, as well as some progress and support for students and campuses. Our strategies fall into the umbrellas of promotion, so how we're promoting these opportunities for students, to what degree students are participating in experiences. When we talk about performance, this might look like a theatrical performance here, but the image there is actually one of our students who is pitching their business idea there in our entrepreneurship program. So performance means how students are performing both in their courses, on SAT benchmarks, and those earning college credits. And then the final category is the partnerships that we're growing to develop access for students across our system. And so I want to talk about each of these categories today and how we're growing within them. And the first is going to be some data evidence specifically connected to performance. And so then we'll bounce between the others with some artifacts. So let's just start with performance. And this reflects growth since the last time that we talked in the spring. We have celebrated over the last couple of years some gains in IBC, the number of IBCs taken, and the students earning them. If you take a look here, you can see the number of students earning IBCs. There's a 13.83% change just in a year, and we were already celebrating the growth when we were with you all last year discussing this. So in 24-25, when we were able to close out those numbers, we had 930 students earning an IBC. The total number of IBCs they actually earned was well over 1,000. And so as you can see by that, students can earn more than one IBC, and we'd like to continue seeing growth in that, especially into the advanced levels. Some more performance. I emphasized the readiness for AP is not just taking a course, but actually taking the exam associated with that. And you can see, again, an increase of students in 24-25 who actually tested when they took the course, the AP course. We also see a significant increase in the number of students, or the percent of students who earned a 3+ on the exam that they took with the course that they were enrolled in. So continuing to see some gains in performance on these exams. And then we see an increase in students who are enrolled in dual credit. If you look, the number of students between 23-24 and 24-25 that were actually enrolled in dual credit courses has continued to increase, and so has the number of students. This is similar to the IBCs. Students might take more than one dual credit course, and so that number of enrollment looks significantly higher than the number of students that are reported here. So I wanted to start with performance prior to coming back to the other strategies that will help us in continuing to increase the performance and participation. I would solely attribute the gains in performance and even participation in the last 2 years to us increasing awareness. We have a dynamic group of campus principals who are with us today, and they, alongside Ben and Denise Ayers, have really been diving in to understand more about dual credit, about, yes, AP, and increasing the quality of advising that our students get. I want to share with you, I'm going to pass these around, one of the greatest challenges that we have is making sure that we are well informed as staff, that our advising teams are very well informed, and then most importantly that our students and families are well informed about opportunities available to them. And you see the question up top, answering the question, what is right for me? And so we didn't honestly have a ton of clarity around that in our system, and so tools such as this poster in front of you have been developed to help our students, families, and staff understand the uniqueness between each of these different advanced course opportunities and help them in understanding how to make decisions around what's right for them. So I'm going to stop talking just a bit and let you put your eyes on this kind of advising poster, get you oriented to it, and then let you take it in a bit to answer any questions that you have. The 3 columns are organized. On the far left is advanced placement. Dual credit is in the middle. And then we have a number of students who participate in the Temple College Bioscience Institute, where they earn their associate's degree while in high school. And so, again, I'm going to stop talking for just a bit and let you orient yourself to this advising guide. Just ask what's jumping out to you about this resource and information on it, and then let's let it drive some conversation that we have.
How much college credit you can earn?
You have a question about how
No,
much
no,
you
I mean,
can earn?
just the idea that you can
Oh.
earn 2 years of
Absolutely.
school. And as you were talking, I was thinking to myself, how many of our students actually graduate and get their baccalaureate degree when they're 20 years old? I mean, that's a conceivable, right?
Absolutely it
Yeah.
is. Absolutely.
And how much money you save, with the cost of college these days, and having to go
By
in and,
doing that.
yeah. You go to University of Texas for 2 years and get a bachelor's degree.
I hate saying we're going to talk about in just a bit, but we're going to talk about in just a bit some of the especially with our partnership,
Right.
how we're working to make it even more accessible, because there are many opportunities.
Sure.
We're even talking about how we can back down to 8th grade where it's appropriate and where we can think about students who are ready. A barrier for students has been requirements to meet a certain standard in their TSIA classes before they can enter a dual credit course. And so our partners are helping us understand that we can get students into college courses earlier, and completion of the course will give them that TSIA ready credit.
I mean, what jumps out to me is, right, the amazing program and opportunity we have at Temple College, right, with TBI, and just the outstanding opportunity that is. The additional flavor of dual credit, to kind of add on to that. But the flip side of it is, man, this is a lot for every student that we have going through to really try to understand, like, well, which one of these is the best approach for that particular student, right? Because it may very well vary, for each student, which one of these is the best or better path for that particular family. And so I think there's a lot to chew on there and get right for everybody.
There's a ton. And if I could react to that, Chris, when we were together last year and kind of talking about hopes and dreams, one of the key strategies that we named was improving our advising. And we didn't have, think about all the information on here to make sense of. We didn't have any mechanism to really clearly communicate that with students, to really clearly communicate it even with our leadership teams and counselors. And so there was quite a bit of excitement, especially from our counseling staff, when these tools were developed, because it's just to be able to look at something and answer, here are the differences between these options, will help
I love this visual.
Yeah. I got some great critical feedback from a friend that said, is this all? Right now, it's capturing kind of our current state, and in our what happens with the Texas Bioscience Institute is one great opportunity. We believe very strongly that that associate's pathway, that opportunity for students can be built out in many different ways, not just TBI. TBI is great, but we think there's more. And so excited about growing, so this becomes an expanded advising pathway tool. What else is jumping out to you?
I appreciate that there's thought around the credit transfer, because I know for someone who had transferred a couple of times, when you work so hard in a class and then it doesn't transfer. So I appreciate that there's forethought into get kids in the classes, they do well, but then it doesn't transfer. So there's forethought in each of these areas.
Okay, well, let's jump. I don't want to tell you we're going to talk about that a little bit more anymore. I want to talk to you about I'd call it like a flagship partnership that is going to really help us build out opportunities for students, is going to be a key partner for us in removing barriers for students so that this becomes a reality for a greater number. I'm actually going to invite Dr. Ponce from Temple College to join me at the table. And first, let me just introduce her. Hi. Join us. So we have a seat. So we are really just getting started, and Poor Thing is spending a ton of time with me and our team and really trying to one, educate both of our organizations. One of the things that we've learned is that we have to strengthen our understanding of how our public schools, pre-K through 12, what are the operating systems and guidelines that we navigate within, and we are getting way smarter about the operating systems and guidelines that our university and our higher education partners navigate within. But our desire is for a premier partnership to be developed between us and Temple College that is able to remove barriers and transform the access that students have to college beyond and before having to graduate our system. We want them to get it right within. You were about to say something.
I just want to add, so we really want every single student when they walk across the stage to have had the opportunity to graduate not only with a high school diploma, but also with an associate's degree. And it's not because we think college is for everyone, but even if you, as you walked around and looked at the career opportunities and what that says to an employer, that I am able to participate in rigorous coursework. I am getting industry-based certifications in high school in an area that's a passion of mine. And so we got super excited to meet with Dr. Ponce and say, okay, so how do we do this? How do we open additional opportunities for our students? Even said, who's the best of the best, and let us go study what the best of the best does, because we want to be even better than them. Not because we're competing with others, but we want to make sure that our students in Belton ISD have every opportunity. So when we talk about pursuing their dreams, that we have created conditions where they really could pursue, and sometimes it's about pursuing things and realizing it is not right for you. And that's just as important. You would rather someone figure that out in high school than to go and get a 4-year degree only to find out that's not, I mean, that's what I did, quite frankly, only to find out when I got into that industry that that was that really wasn't my passion. And so obviously those things can still happen, but we want to give students, again, the opportunities to explore so that they can start to figure out what they like and what they don't like. And so I'm excited that Dr. Ponce is here tonight with us because she has spent, and her staff has spent countless hours with us as we've been dreaming about what could be in our partnership. And again, tonight it's not to say we've arrived, it is to say we're on a journey, and we wanted to update you on where we are on the journey. And so excited that Dr. Ponce is here with us today.
So again, we have not arrived in any way. So even the tools that you see in front of you are my attempt with the support of Christine to try to get some of our messy action work that we've been doing into a meaningful way to communicate that with you all as we are just getting started in this work. Christy's at the table with us. Dr. Ponce is at the table right now. Do you want to say anything before I dive into our strategies and what we've been doing?
Sure. I thank you for having me here. I just wanted to say that you should be extremely proud of your team members because they have done an excellent job even before all of this work. There's a lot of districts in the area, a lot of students that participate in dual credit, and Belton ISD for many years has set the bar really high for students, and there are more students that participate in dual enrollment from Belton ISD than anywhere in the region. And Belton ISD also has the largest number of students that are in the TBI program. So they're intentionally helping guide students to STEM and healthcare careers that are going to have the highest wage opportunities. So this is all in addition to already those great achievements. They are setting the bar even higher and opening up more opportunities. And so it's been such an honor to work with them and think strategically about how to help every student go through these kind of experiences and earn their associate's degree. And earlier, mentioned transferring. Students that are in technical degrees usually go into associate of applied science degrees, and then they go directly into the workforce. We're really proud that we are working with our university partners on a bachelor's of applied science. So even technical fields have a transfer opportunity where they're able to get an applied bachelor's degree, so that way they can be in management within those areas or higher level technical fields. And so there's truly opportunities for everyone. And working with this amazing team and listening to their dreams and how early students can get started, especially now with the great improvements with House Bill 8 and making it achievable for any student to really access dual credit at no cost to them. It's a game changer for creating opportunities. And so I think that you're going to have a lot of students that are able to get started earlier and finish their associate's degree even before they graduate from high school, and not just the week before they graduate from high school, but possibly even earlier. And so our university partners are ready for that, and they said that they would scholarship the students if they need to take junior level college work while they're still in high school. And so the sky's the limit on the opportunities.
So let me talk a little bit about the work that we're doing right now. Melinda mentioned that she said, who's the best of the best? And so one of the key districts that was named was Goose Creek ISD, and I think I've shared a little bit of this with you all. We took a trip together. Our principals did, our team went, and our friends at Temple College went with us to see what was actually going on in Goose Creek. And I would call the team at Goose Creek our friends now, and I'm super excited. So what I'm going to say is not meant to be ugly in any way. What happened is our principals went and visited classrooms and said, wait a second, our kids are having phenomenal experiences in the classroom that are at this level or above, but we're not getting dual credit for it. Our kids are not getting the credit that they should for this. And Claudia is back here. We actually went on 2 trips together, And you want to talk about striking a competitive edge in her. Like, she was on fire when we left. And I would say the same thing for all of them. I just felt like we got to get ourselves together because she's going to tackle me if we don't. Like, we've got to figure out how to clear the way for this. So our teams came together, our Temple College team and Belton ISD team, and we have a big aspirational goal that by 2028, 90% of our students will be able to say, I am actively in pursuit of this degree, and I've earned an associate's degree, or I am credentialed in an industry-aligned area, or I have earned 30 hours. And the 30 hours comes from a tipping point that I learned from Dr. Ponce, that our entire team did. It has nothing to do with me. That at 30 hours, students are much more likely to finish their degree than if they haven't. Now, I want to be very clear. We are not implying at all that every student thou shalt go to college. But what I feel very convicted by is that it is our job to empower our students to make that decision. And if our vision is that our students leave Belton ISD empowered to own their futures, empowered to enrich their communities, we know that's a tipping point. And so we've got to set targets for ourselves that we know will get our students to tipping points. On this sheet here, a couple of things that we're doing that are big, high leverage work are early planning. We're starting as early as 8th grade with some career inventories that we can then help map out what your high school coursework experience is, both in our core credits as well as what might be aligned dual courses. We are really thinking as integrated partners on how we support our students and families with advising and making sure that all families and students understand the resources available to them. Staff development is a huge priority for us. There are a large number of staff members who may be eligible to be embedded dual credit instructors. One of our biggest concerns over time has been access for students who may not be able to get to the college for courses if they were offered there. So we are working to eliminate both the access financially and location-wise by doing reviews of our own staff credentials and getting them prepared to be dual credit instructors. Erin, you pulled out a story about an educator earlier as what could be told 5 years from now. Our conversations have also started on how we strengthen a grow your own and really think about STEM in particular experiences where we can grow our own educators within our system. And I would love for the story to be 5 years from now about how we've significantly positively impacted the teacher workforce. And so we believe that we can strategize around that together. And we really have kind of zeroed in on emphasizing as a starting place our STEM pathways. So this is really just a helpful tool to kind of articulate the big work that we're engaged in together. But I do want to share some data that you were just alluding to that tells you where we're starting from. Right now, our students who are directly connected to Temple College are excelling at college level coursework. And here is the average GPA for all BISD students in the spring of 25. And that backs up to the fall of 24. You see here separated our students that are in all classes in BISD with an 86 on average GPA. On the right side, you see the TBI GPAs, and that's the Bioscience Institute. That again, we think that we can expand to other areas to earn associates as well. So great GPA for our students that are currently enrolled. These are what I would call aspiration insights. These are currently enrolled number of students accessing dual credit. And as we started, our goal is to increase that. And so while we're proud that Belton ISD has been the highest enrolled, we absolutely want to increase that over the next couple of years, and we're seeing incremental growth right now. In the class of 26 and 27, the data that's shared here shows you the degrees that students have communicated commitment to. After a student has been in 15 hours, am I correct? Look at that. Like, I'm so much more wise with requirements now. Once a student takes 15 hours of college credit, they need to make a commitment to a degree plan and a degree pathway. And so these are what areas our students have already committed to from our class of 26 and our class of 27 students. And you can see that the number of students engaged has grown there as well. And then this is something to be really proud of. That small TBI group, there's an elite access, meaning you've done really well in your courses that gives access to pre-medical science, and only 15 of the total students enrolled in TBI were selected to take part in the pre-medical science program after an interview process, after demonstrating medical commitment and intent, and 8 of those were Belton ISD students. So of the 15 across the program, 8 of those were Belton ISD students, and so that makes us really proud. I've talked to you just high level about some strategies we're engaged in. This is just a visual to show some of the steps that we're taking this school year to progress further along. First of all, it was with the launch of our strategic joint planning committee. We come together every month at 7:30 in the morning and do a progress monitoring check as a team, both with Temple College and our Belton ISD team, on tasks that each of us have taken on responsibility for. Currently, we are in the throes of establishing a vertically aligned course progression, like a crosswalk, not only for the coming school year, but through that 28 target and beyond. And that will require us to do an evaluation of the impact of dual credit offerings on our master scheduling. And then also you can see in the fall, we've been developing some marketing tools to help us in messaging for our students. Our students at New Tech actually worked alongside the Temple College communications team in talking about what having access to dual credit means to them, so that they can start developing some storytelling resources together. As we enter the spring, we will have our courses narrowed for options for students. We are also in the throes right now of looking at our staff who are interested in serving as instructors for dual credit and making sure that they have the credentials necessary so that we can embed instructors in all of our high schools. And we are also planning to have some hiring shared across both the college and Belton ISD. And then beyond that, we will continue building out those progressions over time. This is going to be an ongoing project for us to increase access for students. So I committed at starting point to not do as much talking today, and I feel like I've done quite a bit of that. Let me hear from you what's on your minds right now.
And I wonder real quick, if Chrissy, could you share just real quickly that I believe, I hope I'm not wrong, you could even get a bachelor's degree and not leave the campus of Temple College because of the partnership with Central Texas, Texas A&M. So is there anything you want to share specifically about partnerships with them?
Yeah, that's correct. So we just launched the University Center on the Temple College campus, and so students can earn up to 7 bachelor's degrees right now. They're adding several more bachelor's degrees next semester, and they're adding several master's degree and a PhD very soon as well. So students can earn all of those advanced degrees on the Temple College campus and not have to relocate or move to a different area. And so this is a great opportunity to address the access thing that Gabby was talking about. So therefore they get all of those resources on site. And they were also recognized recently for having the least expensive bachelor's degree in the state of Texas. They were listed as number 1 least expensive. And so with the great cost that they can save through dual credit, and then going on to the least expensive bachelor's degree here in the area, and so it's really such a great opportunity for them to continue on and not have to move away. And if students want to experience that college experience and get the college feel, we also have apartment complexes on our campus, and so they can go and have that campus life experience and still still stay local and build that talent pipeline. And we are working with the Belton ISD administrators to make sure that we're planning from the end in mind and looking at all of the careers that are in our community and planning backwards, so we make sure that Belton ISD students they're really the first ones that are recognized for those great job opportunities that are in our area.
So those degrees, you can see just the starting place that's articulated on these advising sheets here. This was just the start for us. And so as we get these crosswalks planned, we will want to add specific university partners that we're working to make sure kids are connected to. And when I can go and access dual credit and Temple College right here and then go directly into A&M Central Texas, we're just eliminating more and more barriers for students. So,
Questions or comments?
On that last word you said, barriers, those are the questions I have. So one goes back a few slides to the AP classes, and why in the world would a student take an AP class and not take an AP? Can I just throw out several of the questions?
absolutely, yes.
There's so many, but the time we're short on. So I just can't believe that many students I don't understand, I guess, why that many students would join an AP class and then not take the test. I'm assuming some of it might be financial, the $295 or whatever it is, cost of those tests. So that's been one of the barriers I'm concerned about. One of the others was, some of the statistics between the two high schools. I've wondered if access is limited between Belton High School because they live in Belton, and then those that live in Lake Belton, which, depending on which statistics you look at, is about double to triple.
Mm-hmm.
I sent you an email earlier on that as far as, like my daughter, by the way, goes there. It's been phenomenal for both her and our family up there at Temple College. But I do wonder if that's a barrier, because I think that those that live in Temple in certain zip codes in certain areas get free tuition, whereas those at Belton High School do not. And what could we do as far as supporting those students, all Belton ISD students, to be able to access the same opportunities? I know we've talked before with Dr. Golden and that we do cover those that are not, that qualify for the free lunches. That would be kind of the set barrier where the school will step in. But I do think we have a ways to go in educating. I know my daughter, we thought we were gonna have to pay for it, but there ended up being opportunities to apply for scholarships. And I don't know that, we didn't know that beforehand, but we were sure grateful that she was able to do that. So those would be some of the questions that I have, is that especially the financial barriers and the dichotomy that exists between the two areas.
Sure. So I think I can answer almost everything, and if not, we'll absolutely be able to follow up. So let's start with the AP and the exams taken. And I'll talk a little bit about dual credit and AP and some of the historical reasoning for students. I will always say that one of the best ways to eliminate barriers is to sit down and listen and advise and understand what the barriers are. So that's one thing, improving. Something that is shared in common across school districts, is not a Belton ISD thing, is that there is a requirement of demonstrating readiness on TSIA prior to being able to access dual credit. And that I alluded to earlier, but there are some courses that we can take now that our partners at Temple College are helping us identify that will allow students to get in, and you can earn that readiness by course completion. So that's one way we're addressing a barrier. So in a dual credit class, students had to take a test before being ready for dual credit. And in an AP class, they don't. So students want access to advanced academics for college preparedness. And so that might be one reason that students take an AP course initially over a dual credit course. Now, there are ways to address that, and that's where that advising comes in. Because once you get to that AP exam, yes, there is a significant financial burden that families take on for the AP exam. So we do have strategies to help address that now. Yes, for students who meet eligibility for free and reduced lunch. With our business and advisory council that actually Denise Ayers facilitates, we have an adopt a student now where some of our partners are supporting that and helping with that financial barrier. And then we also work with our BEF Foundation, and then our campuses have funds as well. So we are working actively to eliminate that as a barrier, if that is the barrier. Related to dual credit, yes, it's identifying, do they need readiness assessment or not? But we also are strategizing to back up the TSIA. Students can take that as early as 8th grade. And so we are planning and putting in place things like boot camps and assessment supports so that they can take that and eliminate that as a barrier for them. And so that was just the AP dual credit question. And there's so many details embedded within that. Related to cost for students, one strategy to address a barrier for cost is that in House Bill 8 is when FAST was initiated. And FAST is a federal assistance that if a student in the last 4 years had been eligible for as an economically disadvantaged student at any point in time, they are now eligible for free college admissions. And so just because they were eligible doesn't mean anything if we aren't monitoring who's eligible and then having that strong advising to secure them to those opportunities. And so that too is an additional strategy that we are using to ensure access, and it's all around education and being informed. And so we are in a regular, in fact, we just verified students last week to make sure that the students who are eligible for that support have access to it. And then I'd say that another strategy related to that and increasing proximity-wise is this strategy of embedded staff. Temple College staff can come to our campus, and so we can maximize that as well as getting our own staff credentialed so that an increasing number of our students have access. And so those are just a couple of the key strategies that we're engaging in directly in response to your question. And so those are the big ones, but there are additional, like looking at how we're building out courses over the next few years in alignment with the highest level of interest on campus as well, are ways that we're gonna get more students plugged in.
And also just asking our students. Y'all know we raised 5 kids, and one of our sons could not pass an AP exam. I'm not gonna use his name, so I'm not humiliating him at the moment, to save his life. Was not a good test taker, but kept taking AP because he wanted to go to college and wanted to be able to take the rigorous course to prove that he could do it in college. And finally, with some advising, we were able to move him to dual credit instead of taking AP and not taking the test, and was able to get a finance degree from UT. And so I think there's probably a lot of reasons why some people don't, but I think in the question, Riley, it's let's make sure that if there are barriers and financial barriers, that we look for solutions so that that's not the reason a student isn't taking an AP exam, is what I'm hearing in that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Related to asking questions, I mentioned the adopt a student. So our campus principals, counselors, and Denise worked together this year, and they asked students, they were all given a form and said, are your plans to challenge the test? Are there any barriers that would exist to that? And so we were able to get responses back from all of our students who were enrolled in those courses. And if the barrier was financial, that's how we narrowed the scope of, and I'm totally making this up off the top of my head because I don't have it in front of me, but at BHS, I have 12 students who have communicated that finance is a barrier for their taking the AP exam. So when we had our business advisory members there, we were able to secure immediately. They submitted a QR code and were able to allocate the dollars for that number of students. And so just some awareness just in the moment. There's lots of people who are willing to jump in and support.
Other comments or questions?
So for teachers, what kind of intrigues me is teachers at like our schools, if we can get them credentialed to teach both, is that they paid both by Belton and Temple College, or or is it a stipend? How, is there a stipend, or is there a pay increase if they're able to be?
So part of our planning is to address exactly that and determine the most appropriate strategies to do that. My gut instinct initially was to plan for stipend. When we have worked with some partner districts around, we get a lot of challenge back that you really just want this embedded into your courses. Our AP teachers do not get an additional stipend. So long response to your very simple question is we are examining the most appropriate steps to take to address that as a need. What we don't want to do is unintentionally place an overemphasis on one or the other when our goal is to increase access to advanced academics and career readiness for students. And so those are some of the practices that we're examining.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
And we provide an incentive where every class that's taught by an embedded instructor, we waive tuition for that class, for everybody in the class, regardless of their financial.
And that's why teaching here is on site is great for our students. So.
Dr. Ponce, you mentioned the Associate Applied Science. Do we have a pathway here where a kid can take like the first year of that Associate Applied Science and then when they graduate, go to Temple College for a year and receive an Associate in Applied Sciences? Do we have that embedded in our system now? As opposed to an Associate of Arts, right?
Right.
I'm talking about an Associate of Applied Science.
Right. I think that Ms. Ayers has worked really closely, so therefore they do get on that Associate of Applied Science pathway, or take industry-based credentials or get certifications while they're here. And this close work that we're doing and aligning everybody to be able to maximize dual credit and earn their associate's degree is gonna even give them the ability to finish their associate's degree, hopefully before they graduate from high school. So therefore, it makes it even more affordable for them.
I see.
Yeah. So they'll be able to go even further than the year or the certification or the really good things that are already in place. We're looking at an even stronger pipeline of the entire associate's degree as a pathway and making that a possibility so students have the ability to go that full amount, or they can go any of the other milestones and still be achieving quite a bit of dual credit.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and when they declare their pathway or degree program, that's on their record at Temple College. So the only thing that falls off whenever they graduate is their dual credit kind of tag. So like if they're a senior in high school and they're looking at their progress towards their associate degree on the Temple College self-service login is what but basically their student portal, that doesn't change when they graduate high school. They're already on a terminal degree program, and so if they just need one more class over the summer to graduate, it's very easy. Or if they've just done 30 hours and they need 1 year of school, they can go. They're already in the program. There's not like a, I guess there's technically maybe a reapplication, but it's very simple, and they're already on their degree pathway. So there's no shift unless they choose to pursue a different major.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to drop a list of wonders on you. There's not time to answer these, right? So we talked about early planning, right? And, what are we doing from an aptitude, interest, strength assessment standpoint, right? To, yes, there's immense value in understanding that this path isn't what you want to do, but man, as many as we can hit right to identify where it is the place, right? I think it's great too. So that's wonder number one. Wonder number two is, understanding what are the supports that are there for the kids that are going through either TBI or dual credit or whatever, like when they are struggling or when they're found not to be ready, like what does that support structure look like? I feel like I've got a pretty good understanding of the interventions on, the BISD side, but I don't understand what that looks like. When we look at building out, like, okay, what program's next? Like, what's the next one after TBI, right? So I understand the community colleges, are pretty specifically supposed to be working at building up the industry footprints for the industries that are in their geographic area of influence, right? And so they're so it's not infinite, right? And I don't know how well it matches up to all the posters that we have here, right? But I'd be interested to understand like what those core areas are, specifically for Temple College, and how that maps to what we have, and sort of understand sort of where we've got the gaps. Wonder 4 was just around the cost of the partnership to Belton ISD, right, and to our students. We talked about that a little bit. Wonder 5 is around like the support that we're getting our counselors, right? I mean, there's no secret that our counselors have way too many things on their plate, right? And so this is yet another one, but super important, right? So understanding what that looks like, and then from a TIA standpoint, right? We were talking about the teacher incentive allotment. Like, is there, if we are having some of our teachers dual credentialed or dual hat, whatever we want to call it, like, is there a TIA impact to that, right? Because we're in the middle of doing that right now too. So my brain's been firing on all these different areas while we've been talking. So yeah.
You're right, time-wise.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah,
done.
we're getting all
I know,
over.
we're done, but I commit to following
Yeah,
up
yeah, yeah.
on these, and I will tell you, there will be ongoing updates, because some of this is strategic work that we're doing right now, and so I'll provide ongoing updates on
Yeah,
our work.
yeah, yeah.
about the work.
Okay.
Would you like the academic support?
Yes. So I appreciate you guys engaging today. Goal was to really be able to talk about our hopes and dreams for our students and through the lens of our vision, but also to really talk about how we are increasing access to advanced academics and a premier partner for us. I did challenge you to come back to a headline, and we are over time, so we're not going to do that right now. But I just appreciate you all, and I'm happy to talk more about this work over time.
Yeah, this is exciting.
Yeah, and just thank you to Dr.
Thank you.
Ponce
Thank you.
and her team,
Thanks for having me.
and to the Belton ISD team that's in the
Yeah.
audience. So thank y'all.
Claudia?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank y'all. Ben, everybody. Yeah. You guys, this is exciting. This
And
is
you were just
life-changing
gonna say
stuff.
hi, so thanks for saying it.
Yeah, Christy thought she was waving from
Yeah.
back there.
I
so
told you to
thank
come to
for
the
coming
table,
To the
though.
table.
No, thanks for having me.
You okay? As you transition out, she also probably brought swag for you all from
Fun.
Temple College.
Colors.
Okay.
That's all right. Thank you.
No love.
Thanks, y'all.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, that concludes our board workshop this evening. There being no further business, we are adjourned at
It is
6:02 p.m.